Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're not going to be doing any Blender related stuff. I'm actually going to be going over a few things that I have created with Chat-GPT. It is a super cool interface. It's an AI interface where you can basically ask it to do whatever you want. Now there's some limitations, but I was actually able to make my own web apps with this. So let me go ahead and put my face down in the bottom left hand corner here and show you guys what I've actually created with this. So on the left hand side we have our actual Chat-GPT interface. And basically one of the prompts that I gave it was, write me a web app that shows a simple fluid simulation. And I was like, there's no way that this is going to work, or if it does, it's going to be weird. So I actually went ahead and did that. It actually gave me all of this code here on the left, and on the right hand side, I actually went ahead and went into a text document. I pasted all of that code, saved it as an HTML file, and I actually loaded it up in my browser, and look what I was able to get with that prompt. How cool is that? Are you guys seeing this on the right hand side here? Incredible. Again, this was all generated supposedly from scratch from a data set, but look at all the code that it actually generated, and the code actually works. There was actually no errors at all as far as I'm concerned, and maybe this isn't actually a fluid simulation, but it did do what I asked it to do. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next example here. So another thing that I wanted to ask it to do was to create a web app that changes the color of a circle. So I said, please change the color of a circle with a web app, and it gave me all this code. Again, I took this code, I pasted it into a text document, and I actually ran that as an HTML file in Chrome, and look at that. I have a drop down where I can actually change the color of a circle. So again, a perfect example of an actual working web application or HTML file that actually works. It's completely functional. It runs on JavaScript, HTML, and I think some basic CSS. I was just super impressed with that. And again, when I first got it, this is the second version that you're seeing, but when I first got this code, I said, can you make it look a little bit better? And it actually generated CSS for me that I added into the style up top on the top of the HTML document, and it actually made everything look a little bit nicer. I was just super impressed. And you can actually ask it to help you fix errors in your code, which is super impressive. The final example that I want to show you guys is a web app that I asked Chat-GPT to create that will actually let me view two websites at once. So I asked it to do that, and it actually genuinely did a really good job. An iframe is basically something that contains another website, and it actually was able to do this. And here is the website right here on the right that it generated. As you can see on the right-hand side and the left-hand side, we actually have side-by-side iframes that allow you to put any domain in here and view it. So it did exactly what I asked, and I was just super impressed with what it was able to come up with. Who knows what the future holds? I just wanted to share a few quick examples with you guys. I just thought this was super impressive. I was even able to get it to generate Blender plugins for me, OBS plugins, Photoshop scripts. You can pretty much ask it to do anything. There's obviously some funny ones on the left here that my friends have asked me to put in there, but let's go ahead and just give it a new one real quick just to show you guys the capabilities here. I'm going to type in, I can see that you guys can't see that, I apologize, let me just kind of pull my face up there. I think I'm going to type in, write me a Blender plugin that will bevel all of my geometry. And let's just go ahead and see what this does here. Sure, here's a basic outline of how to create a Blender plugin that bevels all of the selected geometry. So when you give it a more complex task, it's actually going to give you like steps to accomplish the thing that you're asking. But it's super impressive. If you give it the actual scripting language that you're trying to accomplish this with, more than likely it will actually give you a script back. But as you can see here, it's telling us exactly the steps that we would need to take to accomplish this. It's super impressive. I'm beyond impressed with the capabilities here. Now, all of these things are pretty much factual, it seems. I've never created an actual plugin, but it seems pretty legit. Yeah. So, and it'll literally, oh, here you go. Here's the full code for the plugin. Okay, let's give this a second. It's actually going to write the code for us as we speak. Import BPY, not sure what that means. Maybe something having to do with Python. Class bevel all operator. This is impressive. Look at that. Wow. And I think sometimes it's going to freeze up a little bit, but it does look like it's still writing this code for us. So I'm just super impressed. I actually did ask it to create a Photoshop plugin that would make a purple circle in the middle of your canvas or like in the middle of the screen, and it actually did successfully do that. I had issues installing the Photoshop plugin, but as you guys can see, this is just super, super impressive. I had to make a video on it. I was baffled when I saw this. I mean, just look at the code that it's writing. And this all looks legit. It's all color coded and everything. And then it'll tell you how to use the plugin. To use the plugin, simply select the geometry you want to bevel and run the Bevel All operator from the Object menu in the 3D Views toolbar. The bevel width and number of segments can be adjusted using the sliders in the Operators panel. It's telling you pretty much everything you need to know. It's incredible. The name of this tool is Chat-GPT, and all you need is like a Google account, or you can just sign up with their website. It's completely free, and it's super, super impressive. I kind of want to give it a few more examples just to kind of test it and put it through the ringer here. Let's see if we can get it to make another web app. How about we say, make me a web app that generates a random number between 1 and 100. And let's go ahead and see if that works. That seems like a pretty simple task. It's probably going to use HTML, JavaScript, and some CSS if it needs it. As you can see, it's actually frozen. Oh, here we go. Sure, here's a basic outline of how to create a web app that generates a random number between 1 and 100. First, create an HTML file and add the following basic structure. And it actually is typing all this out, but I think it's also trying to kind of teach me how I would go about doing something like this. Now, I actually do already know some basic HTML, CSS, JavaScript, so I could probably figure it out on my own. But if you're completely new to a programming language, or to, in this case, markup language, since a lot of people don't like to refer to HTML as a programming language, you can actually learn how to do this. So this is almost like a little teacher in itself, and it's just super, super impressive. As you can see, it's telling you to make a button that will actually generate that random number. And then here is the actual script that will generate the random number. And then I assume it's going to tell us, where to put that random number. So you would have to, it's going to make a div tag called random number with an integer in there. And then I assume that once the random number is generated, it will then replace the text. So theoretically, if we were to copy all of this code into an HTML document and run that, it would work. And it's actually adding comments to the code as well, which is actually super useful and impressive because it's explaining everything that it's doing as we go here. So I'm just super, super impressed. And again, guys, I know this doesn't have to do with Blender. I know that's what you came to this YouTube channel for, but I absolutely had to make a video on this. I just thought it was so, so interesting. It's still going. It's still writing some code. And then it said, that's it. Your web app should now generate a new random number between 1 and 100 every time you click the button. I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Guys, this is incredible. This is in the early stages too, so I'm curious to see where we go from here. Like 3 months from now, this could be 10 times more powerful. It's actually quite scary how accurately it was able to accomplish the task that I had asked it. Again, these are a little bit more advanced questions, but we can pretty much ask it to do anything. I think I'll just do one more example question and we'll kind of see what we can come up with here. What I would like to do is say something like this. How can I come up with creative ideas for 3D design? Question mark. Let's go ahead and see what it does with a question like that. So the last time I did this, it generated a whole list for me. So let's see what it does. Here are a few tips for coming up with creative ideas for 3D design. Look for inspiration in the world around you. Take a walk or drive around your neighborhood and pay attention to the shapes and forms you see in the world. Look at buildings, cars, furniture, and other objects and try to imagine how you could recreate them in 3D. I already do that every single day. Keep a sketchbook. A sketchbook is a great place to jot down ideas as they come to you. Don't worry about making your sketches perfect, just capture the basic idea as quickly as possible. Experiment with different software and techniques. There are many different software programs and techniques that you can use to create 3D designs. Try out as many as you can and see what works best for you. I would also give that same advice. Collaborate with others. Sometimes it's helpful to work with other designers or artists to come up with ideas. You can bounce ideas off each other and get feedback on your own work. Take breaks and come back to your ideas later. It's easy to get stuck in a rut when you're working on a project for a long time. That's very true. If you find yourself struggling to come up with ideas, take a break and come back to your work later with a fresh perspective. I hope these tips help. Good luck with your 3D design projects. I love how it just adds a little bit of positivity at the end there, kind of encourages you to get better with those 3D projects. So, guys, this is really, really powerful. The reason it is, and yes, you could Google this, the reason this is so much more powerful than Google is because it formats everything in a way that actually makes sense. When you're on Google, you're still kind of searching for something, which is the whole point of the search engine. But with this, not only does it find exactly what I have been looking for, but that it then formats it in a way that's so much easier for me to understand. I don't even have to take that second step to actually click on the link in the Google search to find the thing that I think I'm looking for. It kind of just gives it to me here at face value, and I really like that. Now, obviously, this isn't a Google killer by any means. Google is extremely dominant in the world of search, but I do think this is incredibly powerful, and I have no idea where it's going to go next. So I'm really excited to see what this will evolve to be. Will this take away some jobs? I think it absolutely will, which is a little bit scary to think about, but it's kind of just how the future is headed. So if you have a job that you think this could jeopardize, maybe consider making a shift. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I just wanted to cover a few of the things that you can actually do with this program. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you guys like more videos like this, I will try to keep up with current technology and current APIs like AIs, different chat bots, all that stuff. And I'll try to keep putting out more videos like this. But I just absolutely had to make a video on this. I just thought it was so cool that I could actually make a functional web app. I'll just take a look at them one more time, and then I'm going to go ahead and answer the questions in the live chat over here. So here is the fluid simulation. I do have to actually reload the browser in order to get that to work again, but it looks really good. Obviously, this isn't an actual fluid simulation, but it does look good. And then here is our multiple website viewer. As you can see, we have our side-by-side websites. And then lastly, we have our circular color changer, which really works extremely well. And this is just a really cool way to also just learn how to code. So I'm just super impressed by this. Super happy that I stumbled upon this and was able to actually get some stuff to work with it. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. Let me know what you would ask Chat-GPT. I'm super curious to see where this goes. And guys, have a great rest of your day. I will talk to you soon.